Good evening. Well, I can't help myself. Sometimes I had to make replies. And this time, I got to make a reply to this. This lady has a tremendous following on YouTube, Facebook, and I don't know what else. Anyway, I'll watch her. And I started watching, I guess it's been several years back, uh, because I needed tips on canning and setting up pantries and this and that and this. You know, I'm not a woman. I don't know how to do these things. So a woman's point of view in doing this stuff comes out helpful sometimes. You know, tried to do it right. So it's set up right. So if a woman wants to come in here, they wouldn't think that, well, he just threw this. Look at this. He's got potatoes here and he's got a can of potatoes here and a can of carrots. It's not organized. Okay, well, so anyway, I started watching this lady, and I continue. I catch it, and I catch her, and she does a lot of here lately. She does a lot of videos, and a lot of it is like, I don't know, trying to tell you that you need to be prepared.
So I have been planning to go well over a month, and had somebody here at the farm to help me out and all of these things. Well, James took some vacation, and he said on Wednesday, he said, I'm going to take the vehicle and I'm going to have it serviced and looked at so that we are ready to go, honey. We've been planning for days. So he did. So we got up yesterday morning. We headed out. I was on fire. We had all of my reenactment stuff packed, and Gabriel was excited. Gabriel was going with us. This was so important for Gabriel to attend. And we got all the way through Knoxville. We got all the way to the tip of Tennessee, honey, into Cobb County, right when you travel into North Carolina. We have to go to Asheville to then cut down to go down to Kings Mountain, which is actually in South Carolina. So it's about a 4.5-hour drive just to get there. So it's not like hop over the mountain here to North Carolina. No. It's different. And the shortest route is to go to Asheville. Well, the very short version of this is my car is up to date on everything that we know of. Yep. Tires are good. Got an oil change on Wednesday. I said, James, I've got a coupon. Just take the coupon, just go get the oil change and have them make sure everything looks good, and we'll be ready. No stress. We got 100 things going on, right?
Okay, so she's going on a trip, a very important trip with her family, and they go and have their car serviced. She said that she gave her husband the coupon and sent him down there to have it serviced. Well, while they was there, they serviced the car. They noticed that it was low on coolant. They filled it up with coolant, but there was a question as to whether they burped the system or it had a leak or what. Anyway, they did the people that did the service job did not tell this lady's husband that they had to add coolant or anything else. It was only after they called and spoke to the manager, and the manager was truthful with them, pulled tapes and said yes, he added coolant to it, and it was quite a bit of coolant. Okay, now they overheated in the mountains going on a 4-hour trip. In a couple days later. The only way that the company that did the service was in the wrong is they did not bring it to the car owner's attention. Okay, now, I don't work in the automotive industry. I work in the motorsports industry. People are not apt to go on 4-hour trips across 4 or 5 states. on ATV or a boat, but they will on a motorcycle. So whenever you do a service on these things, you need to be complete. You need to talk. You need to sit down and speak with the customer. You need that time period. But she was talking about how qualified they were, and at this uh, place. Now I don't know if she's talking about a dealership or she's talking about a Grease Monkey or a Jiffy Lube or I don't know what they have in uh, Kentucky. I have no earthly idea. I haven't been to Kentucky since I was oh my goodness, I was 10 or 12 years old. But anyway, I know it's a fine place. Yeah, I got my first ride in a helicopter in Kentucky, and set me on fire. It did. Anyway, off that subject, looking at a beautiful picture, and that's Colorado. Yeah, cool. Anyway, so there's some question as to the qualifications of the guy that did the service because of our employment shortage and this and this. Now, here's where I'm coming involved here. Okay, I'm a certified technician. I've got my certifications. I've been through all the schools all the schooling that you could possibly go through for my field, and there are still times when things can slip your mind. It don't matter how well trained you are, um, things can slip your mind. Adding anything probably over a quart of coolant should warranty an immediate sit down with the customer. Hey, we need to talk. Yes, definitely. But you got to think about it. These places hire people. They're usually kids. And then maybe young adults, from 18 to 25 or even older than that. But a lot of times they're not experienced. Most of the time they're not experienced because you cannot find a certified technician that is willing to work for less than $18 an hour. $18 to $25 an hour is what I would pay a qualified technician. Yes, a certified technician, anywhere from $18 to $25 an hour. How much did you pay for your service? You mentioned you had a coupon. You also mentioned that it was a Kia car. They're made in South Korea. And, they do make stuff out of inferior metals and inferior rubbers, inferior plastics, and inferior wires too, overseas. Not so much in Japan, but when you start dickering around in South Korea, North Korea, Taiwan, China, they make a lot of their rubber products and a lot of their wiring, the insulated coating on their wiring, out of soy-based products. It automatically smells like food to a rat. And rats chew it up all the time. It could have been started week before last, or it actually could have been rotted quite some time ago, because that stuff is not it's not really engineered to last very long anymore. It's not like the good old days when Chevrolet and Ford were kings. Uh, you know, uh, goodness, even a tire sit outside will rot. Just sit outside will rot. Um, so really, what I'm trying to say is, don't hold that young man in a death grip, because I'm sure right now he already feels bad if he hasn't been let go. But really, it was up to the service manager, the manager on duty, to let you know, because I'm sure that the coolant that he added to your engine had to have been accounted for. The husband, it should have been on the ticket. It should have been an extra. It should have been an extra, because usually a service job is oil filter and the labor to do it with. And if you need coolant, that's extra. If you need an air filter, that's extra. Transmission fluid, that's extra. Low tires, they should be noted on the ticket. Yes, all that stuff would be. That's the reason that I take as much time as what I do, and I charge what I do for servicing lawnmowers and ATVs and stuff, because I literally sit down with my customer when I'm done and I explain everything that I've done to it. I literally do. I spend as much time sitting and visiting with my customers as I do working on their machines. And to me, a lot of times it's like, golly, I spent a lot of time at over there. I spent a lot of time over there. I spent enough time over there, I could have serviced 2 units and made twice as much money, or 3 times as much money today as what I did. Well, these people are paying for down home service, and that's what they're getting. If you're under warranty with a car, an expensive car, and ATVs have gotten so expensive that I even suggest to people that if there is absolutely any doubt in your mind that you're going to void your warranty, then you carry it to a dealership and have it serviced. Last week, I serviced a side-by-side, a very high-end service on a side-by-side, a high-end side-by-side, okay? And these people had just bought it used, and the people that they bought it from said it had recently been serviced, okay? Now, when I got under it to service it, because they didn't trust those people, and when I put the dipstick in the oil, it looked a little used. So, and the air filter was nasty. So I told the lady, I said, I suggest you go ahead and service this thing, and then we need to service it every 50 hours. Ooh-wee. Every 50 hours. So anyway, of use. So whenever I got up underneath it to start to service it, every drain plug on this thing was stripped out. Whoever did the service on it did it with the wrong tools, and they put the drain plugs in tighter than what they should be, or they wouldn't be stripped out, because they were only like 16 foot-pounds, 14 to 16 foot-pounds of torque on them. It's not very tight. That's not tight at all, really. And basically, that's just hand tight, and then just a little bit. So don't be so hard on the gentleman that did the the change, because the only thing that he could have done different was set your husband down and told him, look, you're missing some coolant. Well, that right there should have triggered your husband, I guess. Okay, now here we go. It would have triggered him to carry it to the dealership, and they would have tested it, discovered your problem, possibly. You get what you pay for. And I ain't telling you to go buy a Ford or a Chevrolet, because you run into the same problems with that. But when it comes down to parts and stuff like that, the reason they're so hard to get is because they got to bring them all the way from Korea. I would have immediately started talking to a salesman about trading it in. Immediately. That's what I would have done. But that's just me. My work truck is 10 years old next month. It's got 214,000 kilometers on it. I don't know what that figures out to be in miles. I have yet to figure out how to get it to swap over to American miles. But yes, it's got 214,000 kilometers. I think that's somewhere around 120,000 miles, something like that, just off the top of my head. So I mean, I'm blessed. All I've had to do is change the oil in mine a few times and put new tires on it. I added a little coolant to it. In fact, I probably need to check the coolant. It's getting wintertime. And yes, you should check the coolant. At the beginning of every winter, before the first frost, you should always check your coolant to make sure that it will stay. It is in the acceptable range for the temperatures that you are planning on living in or visiting. All of those specifications are on your tester. It floats so many balls, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at mine or read mine. I know that usually if it'll float 4 balls, it's good in Texas. I know that for a fact. Now, it may not be good in Wyoming, but I don't plan on going to Wyoming. But whenever I check customers, I always ask them, if they're planning on going out of state, what they're doing. Good Prestone antifreeze cut 50/50 is usually what you want to use. Anyway, be kind. You might want to be a little rougher on Kia, because I don't know how many miles you got on that ride, but that's the company I'd be rough on. Yeah. And somehow or another, find it in your heart to go give that young man a pat on the back, maybe give him a cinnamon roll or something. God bless you. And keep on doing what you do.